I'm just hanging out in front of our 115th rental property, and we want to show you guys tips on how you can find your first rental property. As I just mentioned when I was hanging on that tree, is that this is our 115th rental property, but everybody has to start somewhere. So we're going to kind of give you guys some tips and some tools and some things we did to find our first rental property and to find this rental property so you can get that ball rolling and get your first rental property under your belt.
The crazy thing is this 115th one is not much different than our first one. So we'll show you how to repeat these steps and find the exact property that you guys want to build your rental portfolio.
So the first thing I would suggest doing is finding out what your ideal rental property is. It's okay if that changes a little bit. Ours has changed a little bit. Brian, who's the other owner of FasterFreedom, his has changed a lot. So it's okay if you don't know exactly what your rental property what you want your rental properties to be, or what you want your rental properties to be in 10 years, but it's important to have that avatar.
Yeah, take a look at this house. This is exactly the type of houses that we like to buy.
Well, Lucas loves brick. If this was brick, it'd be even better.
But it does have pretty much brand new siding.
Yes.
Vinyl siding, but it's 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath in a great part of town, rents for about $1,200. That's the houses that we love to have. We got about 115 of them, and we'll take 115 more.
So there's a few things that you want to take into account when you're figuring out your avatar. If you're wanting a little higher cash flowing properties, then you're probably going to be in a little bit of a lower end of a neighborhood if you're wanting to get higher cash flow. We shoot for $200 a door net cash flow. If you want maybe $300 or $400 a door, that's definitely possible, but you're going to have to go into a little lower end neighborhoods where the initial purchase price is much less, and the rent's less too, but that initial purchase price is much less. Like, just for example, if you want to get that in our market, you probably need to be all in around $40,000 on a house, all in, and it'll rent for $700, $800. That's where you can get that higher cash flow. But like Lucas said, our avatar is a little nicer houses worth probably $100,000 to $150,000, and that rent for that $1,000 to $1,500. So this one falls right in the middle of that.
Right, so we're right in the middle. We get appreciation in these type of neighborhoods, and we also get the cash flow. So it's a perfect balance. If you don't want cash flow, maybe you want just long-term wealth, you would probably need to invest in something a little higher end in your market. But we always say that make sure every house cash flows, and then if something hits the fan, if markets tanks and values drop, you're safe.
Yeah, so do a little bit of research and find out what your long-term goal is. If your goal is just cash flow and not much appreciation, then I would steer towards those lower end houses. If you want appreciation, find out what breaks even or makes a little bit of money on cash flow that costs a little bit more, and go after those. We'll talk a little bit more detail inside.
Yeah, so your avatar, you got your area figured out now, right? So the type of houses, the structures that we like to buy are low maintenance type houses. Normally, we don't like a lot of trees. I know there is a small tree in this front yard, but it's not a huge tree, and it gives nice shade, and it's not gonna mess up the foundation or the sewer lateral. So we like low maintenance houses in the type of areas that we just talked about.
We're gonna talk about how you can find your first deal inside. Before we talk about how you can find your specific first rental property in your avatar, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when we have new videos come out and be the first to check them out and ask us questions, and make sure to put comments in the comment section.
All right, so half the battle is figuring out what you're looking for, but now that you know what you're looking for, how do you find it? So we go around and tell everybody what we're looking for. Real estate agents, wholesalers, mold remediators, everybody. We tell exactly what we're looking for, and that's actually how we bought this house today, was from a local wholesaler.
And we don't just tell those people, we put that all over our social media. You'd be surprised how many people you come across that not every day, but a couple times a year come across a property that could potentially fit your buying criteria, which we talked about outside, needing to get that somewhat finalized so you can tell people what you're looking for. If you tell somebody that I'm looking to buy houses as is, that's just going to go down a rabbit hole. You're going to look at a million houses that you're never going to buy. But if you tell those people that Lucas mentioned, and your friends and your family, and you put it on Facebook and Instagram and whatever social media is out there next, that you're looking for houses in this part of town, in this price range that need about this much work, that kind of thing, that really narrows it down, kind of gets your elevator speech together. When you're talking to people and when you're posting online, just a quick 30 seconds of what house you're looking for, maybe why and what area and what you're going to do with it, so they remember that story next time they come across a property. Because you'd be surprised, once you immerse yourself in this industry, in the real estate investing industry, how many people are willing to help, and how many people come across stuff all the time that they just need to think of you when they come across it.
Yeah, that's a great point. So if you guys have Facebook, I think you could come up with 3 or 4 lines. I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,000 square foot house in this part of town under this price. Does anybody have anything? I bet you buy a house off that.
Yes, especially if you do that more than one time. If you do it a couple times a month, not every day, but a couple times a month for 3-4 months, you do that. You maybe go to the local real estate investing groups that are in your market, and maybe even post on Marketplace and a bunch of different places. We're kind of specifically talking about Facebook, which I have a video right here which talks about the 4 ways you can specifically do that. We go into more detail on how to buy houses on Facebook, but just even a post, that's a hint. That's the very first thing I talk about, is just getting it out there and putting posts about it regularly. I promise you will come across houses. Maybe you won't buy the first, but you will come across houses if you get it out there.
So if you're still wondering, how do I find my first rental property, and you don't know anybody in the industry, start with going to your local real estate meetup group. We have a local group with our company, and about 120 real estate investors come at least once a month. Every decent sized market has 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 of these. So go to every single one until you meet every wholesaler, every other investor that is looking to offload their deals and can sell you a rental property.
If you're looking to add 20 or less houses, which is a ton, I get that, but if you're looking to add less than 20 houses a year, I almost guarantee you that you will get your house. You'll get your house full, you'll meet that. If you're wanting to add 5 to 10 properties a year, if you're in Denver or you're in Chicago or you're in Memphis, anywhere you are, there are several meetup groups that Luke was talking about. You can go to meetup.com and search local groups, go to Facebook, and then just Google them. They're in your area, and go to them. There's people willing to help. There's wholesalers there, but there's also real estate agents and different contractors that come across deals. You tell everybody that you're looking to buy, and you can close quickly, which is a whole nother video on getting all your financing set up. But if you can close quickly, make a decision, and tell people that you are willing to buy houses and you're easy to work with, you will buy houses.
Yeah, you brought up a great point. Another way for you to buy your first rental property is to work with an investor-friendly agent who knows your market. They can get you set up on the MLS with a search in the area that you're looking, the size house that you're looking for, the style of house that you're looking for, and they know the market better than you. So let them teach you, and there's still deals out there on the MLS. Not a whole bunch, but there are still a few, and I guarantee that you can find something that works for you within the first few months.
If you're not convinced that those first few ways we showed you will get you your first rental property, we have a way that works maybe a little bit more for the introvert, someone that doesn't want to go out to all these clubs and meet all these new people and shake all these hands and get their name out. A lot of people don't like to do that. They just kind of want to do their own thing their own way and not go meet a ton of people, which is fine. You can still build a rental portfolio that way. Lucas, how can you do that?
Yeah, so one of my favorite ways to build a rental portfolio, or just to buy any type of houses at a discount, is driving for dollars. So now you have your avatar that you want to buy. You have the area, the type of house, the style of the house, the size of the house. Go driving in neighborhoods that have your avatar in it. And look for houses that maybe are vacant or a little run down. Those are the type of houses we can get good deals on, because they obviously need a little bit of work to get up to rental status or retail status. So we use an app called Deal Machine, and as we drive through these neighborhoods and we see a house with grass maybe a foot tall or bushes over the windows in front, we pin that house in our Deal Machine app, and then we can either directly call that person or send them a mail piece.
Yeah, and if you're going to go download that app, make sure to type in FasterFreedom, all one word, as a promo code, and you get 15 free deal credits, which is free mailers or free skip traces. And a skip trace is when you find out the owner's information, their phone number, their email address, all through public records, but the app does it for you. So make sure to type that in so you can get some free deal credits. But also, I would suggest when you're driving to work, let's say you have a 5 to 10 minute, maybe 20-minute drive to work every day. If you're not a full-time real estate investor, which most people are not, just take a a little different way to work every day. I know quite a few people that do that have a lot of success doing that. Just a little bit different, so maybe it takes you an extra 5 or 10 minutes every day, but if you go through a new neighborhood each day, and the Deal Machine app tracks you, so you know if you're going through a new neighborhood or an old neighborhood, so you kind of aren't like repeating your same steps. Just take a little bit different. It takes an extra hour a week to drive to and from work, but you could potentially come across deals that you can keep for yourself as rentals to find your first rental property, or that you can potentially maybe wholesale or sell off and just make a little extra money.
Yeah, that's a great way. And also, if you go on walks with your family, you walk through your neighborhood, people like to invest in places close to their home. So you can do walking for dollars. It doesn't have to be driving, or bike riding for dollars. Skipping, jumping, rolling would take a long time.
Yes.
But overall, driving, walking, biking for dollars is a great way to find your first rental property.
In fact, on the way to shoot this video to this house, Yates, who's holding the camera, drove by a house that had really overgrown grass, the bushes on the front, you could barely see the house, and he went ahead, and he has access to the app as well. He went ahead and downloaded it and sent it off, and he skip traced. We're gonna have one of our buyers call them. We're gonna send them mail as well, and hopefully we got a really good shot at buying that house because it's overgrown. There's a sticker on the window saying it's condemned, or the person was evicted, or something along those lines. So it is definitely a high probability that house is going to sell in the next few months, and hopefully we're the ones that buy it, and it'll be our 116th rental.
Now that you guys know how to find your first rental property, go out and do it, and then comment down below on if this video helped you find your first rental property.
And don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we got great stuff like this coming out all the time. Hit that subscribe button.
See you.